In this video, we're going to take a look at tube and pipe configurations in Autodesk Inventor, specifically in the iAssembly environment. Some of the concepts we're going to talk about is creating runs common to all members, adjusting the scope editing for a iAssembly member, activating different members and setting their adaptive status, deleting unnecessary routes and runs we might have inside of a particular member, and lastly, just briefly talking about the fact that you can create new member routes and runs in this interchange configuration set for tube and pipe. So we'll begin here with this configurations IAM. You'll notice I have a few components in here, a few valve subassemblies, some tube and pipe fittings, as well as my tube and pipe runs master assembly for a traditional assembly I would have built. And I have run 1, which is going to be common to all of my members, and run 2, which may or may not be common to all members, but that's something I'd like to control through an iAssembly. So I'm going to go up here to create iAssembly from the Manage tab. I'm going to add in a couple rows here. This first one, I'm going to have a distance offset of 400. This will be a particular constraint offset I'll have. Notice the adaptive and non-adaptive status. It's very important we don't change that here. We're going to change that in the interface, so resist the urge to click that to be adaptive there. And this last one here, I got 200, which seems very similar to the top one, but you'll see why we're going to adjust that later. So you can see a table, I have configurations 1, 2, and 3. Configuration 2 will offset my value from 200 to 400 for my components. And obviously I'd like to have that be adaptive down there. I'd like to have that be able to shift with this new shifting of the components. So what I'm going to do is locate my tube and pipe runs. You can see it doesn't have the adaptive symbol on it right now. And I'm going to right click on this to make this particular one adaptive. What this will prompt the software to do is to switch out the existing tube and pipe runs assembly with a new master runs interchange set. So you can see my top IAMs here and the new name for the new file, as well as the new runs and the routes for this interchange set. And this becomes a unique file set for just this member of the iAssembly. And I can come in here and change values if I want to. If I didn't want to make it adaptive, I can uncheck that as well. But in this particular case, it's exactly what I want. So when I make this adaptive, you'll see this will stretch my run 2 to interface with my components as they've been moved. As a side note, you'll notice in the bottom right that my 58 count, that's the number of open documents I have, this has gone up because I've added a whole new interchange set of files. Now this particular hex plug, I'd like to get rid of that before this particular row, this particular member of my iAssembly. Now I just went ahead and excluded it, but I did this on factory scope. When you're on factory scope, it makes changes to the entire iAssembly. I want this just for this particular member, configuration number 2. So I'm going to change back to edit member scope, and here I'll do an exclusion on the member scope. So for configuration 2, the hex plug is gone, but configurations 1 and 3, the hex plug is still there. Now in configuration 3, I'm going to do make adaptive again, and for this particular one, I want to remove an entire run. So I want to take out run 2, and I also don't want those other components for this particular configuration. I'll start off by making it adaptive as well, in case I need to modify anything else down the road. Now when you're working on the member scope, you can also add new routes and runs inside this interchange set as well, because this is a unique set of IAMs and IPTs made up for that particular configuration row. And that's why I can come in here and use delete run to actually delete run 2 and not harm the configurations 1 and 2. So I'm going to go ahead and exclude these components as well. There we go. And I'll go ahead and take a look at the table now. And you'll see I have for the table, it's been automatically populated with my additional tube and pipe replacement configurations, that interchange set. You can see my tube and pipe status has been set to adaptive. You can see that when I was on member scope, certain exclusions occurred for row 2 and for row 3 independently of where I was. and when I switch back between configurations 1, 2, and 3, that interchange set of files will switch itself out. So there you have tube and pipe configurations with Autodesk Inventor's iAssembly environment.